Okay, I think it started.
Yes.
I said I hope not, because I hope we can publish this, but in fact, my presentation will be not very, structured, not with slides, pictures, and everything. I want mostly chat. I want to show what I learned, make some conclusions at the end, and do some live coding in the middle, hopefully. If it's live coding, you never know if it will work. Okay, let me share my screen. See how it goes. Screen. Okay, so I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you a new feature of GitHub Copilot. Actually, this is one of the new features. You can chat with Copilot in browser now. Not sure you can do it if you buy Copilot as an individual, but if you buy it as a company, or you have a license assigned to you by a company, you can use Copilot in GitHub. So you basically don't need to pay for GPT or Claude. You can use it right from the from GitHub. Yeah, one of the new features that I learned yesterday. But I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about extensions. Recently, a few days ago, not sure, I didn't really notice when they published it, but it's definitely just recently. GitHub announced, or actually launched, a way to extend their copilots. I can call them copilots because it's embedded in many things. You can see it's embedded in GitHub. You can chat with Copilot in VS Code, in JetBrains, IDs, and yeah, a number of different places, even on GitHub mobile app. So yeah, they launched Copilot extensions, and basically, what it is that you can kind of write your, they call it agent, or we can call it bot, that everyone would be able to chat with in Copilot chat. Very similar to Slack bots, or I guess bots. We have bots in many different chat platforms. So GitHub allowed us to write our own agents for their Copilot chats. Not The landing page is not very descriptive, but we will look into examples, and I will show you code of very basic agent. Maybe we will be able even change this code. So yeah, we will see how it works under the hood, right? We are developers. We want to know how to use it. There are not many extensions available right now. They are, I think, pretty basic right now. Basically, it's a bot that responds to user questions or to user texts with some kind of context, right? There is a Docker for GitHub Copilot. What it does right now, sorry, I maybe didn't test it, but from the description, from what I experienced writing my own agent, what it does, it's just basically answers your questions about Docker, and that's it. Like you can, yeah, you can ask normal Copilot, you can ask GPT, you can ask Sonnet about Docker, but I guess this extension has more new knowledge or up-to-date knowledge. And yeah, what that's extension that's available right now. Perplexity AI does basically the same. Right now, as I showed you, not intentionally, but already showed you, in Copilot, you can select models that GitHub uses to answer your questions. There are two options, GPT and Claude. But if you are developing or hosting your own large language model, such as maybe you host your own Llama, you can write a Copilot extension and make it available in Copilot chat, right? So you would write something like, and you'll be able to ask questions. And yeah, that's a way to bring different language models to the chat. One of the ways we can add the model here. So Perplexity AI is basically does this, I guess. You can ask it something and it will reply as you would get. And I guess it will be the same reply as you would get sending it from their landing page. README API. I don't even remember what is this. README is something that helps you with something. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the README service, but what I wanted to say is there's nothing, there's nothing that impressed me very much. It's just um, a bot that answers to your questions about README API. You, you can ask them in GPT, but maybe you want to do it differently. And yeah, as I said, there are not those extensions didn't impress me much. With Sentry, however, it's a bit different because with Sentry you can do actions to your Sentry project, right? If you have you can see examples, but you can ask this Copilot extension to show you related bug reports or bugs tracked or exceptions tracked in Sentry related to particular issue on your particular GitHub issue, right? And maybe it will be able to find the relevant one. Hopefully so. Yeah, that's what Sentry does. And yeah, you can go here. There are not many extensions available right now. Yeah, and some of them are not that impressive. Since yeah, I'm talking about those extensions as not impressive for me, but I decided to make a presentation about those whole Copilot extension things. You may ask why. I think this feature maybe not revolutionary, but has good potential, right? I think Slack, when it just started, when it was very like simple chat with good UI and everything, when it just started, one of the killer feature of Slack was its bots, its bots API and everything, how you was able to integrate with you was able to get all the, and you are able now as well to get all the relevant notifications. You could trigger different actions in different services, and with language models, it's even you can do even more impressive things. And I'm not sure you're familiar with, but our internal bot Mona, uh, many years ago, 10 years ago, I think, was forked or was started on GitHub's who bought SDK or framework, whatever, or library, whatever we can call it. It was started from Hubot, and Hubot was able to do a lot of cool things. Hubot was an internal bot of GitHub with features like create a new deployment environment so I can deploy a preview of my of work of something that I'm working on right now. It was able to there are many fun things. It was able to, host different playing poker. There were a lot of different cool extensions, and most importantly, it was able to, do changes in the internet, like creating a new hosting environment for your feature, or scale up, scale down services, something like this. That was cool. That's why I think that's why Slack growth, because of the, or partially because of bots. And I think those GitHub Copilot extensions has the same potential, right? If you are just building an information bot or information Copilot agent extension, Copilot extension engine agent, it won't be that impressive. But you can build something. I can, fantasize what we can build for data rockets. We can have data rockets Copilot extension, and then yeah, infrastructure. You may notice that I care about infrastructure a lot, but it would be, I can imagine that it could be possible that we may ask data rockets create a new environment to deploy a Next.js app, and config. Something like this. And our bot will, or sorry, not bot, our GitHub Copilot extension agent would receive this request. It would be able to parse it. The best way to parse different kind of requests right now is to run them through a language model. Yeah, and that's what we can build with it. Will it be cooler than Slackbot? I'm not sure. But Copilot extension has nice feature, has integration with GitHub's language model, which makes it a bit easier and a bit cheaper to do it as Copilot extension. Yeah, maybe you have any questions so far, so we can answer them, and then I will proceed with showing some code. Basically, I created a small agent and want to show how it works under the hood.
It's not like a question, more like a comment. I noticed that in some bot you were showing, it was Perplexity probably. It was rendered in VS Code. And I would say if you can bring these bots and agents right into VS Code, it's a bigger deal than just like being able to build them. And it will damage other IDEs, but VS Code quite a lot, because it start looking more like what you can have in Cursor, for instance. For instance, you can give them a link to documentation, it will learn it and be able to talk with you about documentation. It's really nice to improve the quality of what it builds. It's not like wildly guessing and giving you some shit. have no connection to the real things, but it actually relies on documentation. And if it will be integrated in the VS Code as is, and probably it will, that's another thing.
I will show it right now. It is integrated to VS Code, but there are some limitations that I don't like, and that's what I actually want to show you right now. I will share a different screen. So you should see my VS Code. Oh, before we do this, wanted to show you something else. Wanted to mention couple more things before I show the code. Actually, there are two ways to create those extensions, Copilot extensions. First way is a bit simpler, and they call it skill set. GitHub called it skill set. Basically, what it does is that you describe, you create a list of functions that your code could run. For example, like create a new deployment environment or answer about internal processes, something like this. You create this like list of functions, not very well defined format, but in a format that a language model would understand. That's funny. Yeah, the world we live right now is interesting. So you create a list of functions, list of skills that your application could do. You send it to GitHub, and then when user chat with your extension skill set, GitHub's LLM, either Sonnet or GPT, whatever you choose. When the LLM would decide to run a function from your skill set, you will get a web request, and you could run this function internally in your app. So that's basically, you just give a list of functions, you create one endpoint, and at some point GitHub could send you a web request, and you would run specific function, return result to GitHub. GitHub would use LLM to present your result the way user wanted to see it. That's what this is one type of those Copilot extensions, skill sets. Another type is an agent. And an agent is also runs in web, and anytime user writes something or tries to interact with your Copilot extension agent, you will get a raw request and a whole history from the chat. I will show you how it looks in logs. Yeah, so this is the second way. It is more powerful because you get a chat history. You can do whatever you want with it. You may even not run any LLM, but most likely you would want to, right? Yeah, more flexibility, but more code as well, because if you also want to run some functions, or if you want for LLM to decide what functions user wanted to run or LLM wanted to run, you would need to create all those prompts yourself, which is doable, but more work. Building extensions are not very hard. Basically, basically you create a web service and exchange messages, and GitHub tries to exchange messages with your web service. If user just mention your Copilot agent, you will get a chat history. You will get a chat history and would be able to do something with it. You would reply in very, very weird way. You would reply back to GitHub with, with text that would be seen as your Copilot agent wrote, right? And the format you return data with looks like this. Basically, it's OpenAI API format. You have to stick with it. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. It's verbose. You may omit many things. I will show you. I try to send back some messages on behalf of my agent, and yeah, you need to stick to this format. It supports streaming. For example, if your agent proxy chat history to another language model, and this language model returns response as a stream of events, stream of tokens, you can smoothly stream it back as a stream of events or stream of tokens to GitHub Copilot. So it's not like user wrote something and waits until the very long response came back, right? The user will see real-time update to the chat. Besides that, your agent can reply with text. It has couple more features. For example, there's a feature for asking a confirmation for something, which is nice. I'm not sure how it looks in UI. I haven't had time to try it and test it to see how it looks, but we can, if we have time today, we can try together, or maybe not. But yeah, agent can ask for confirmation for some, maybe destructive, maybe not, for some actions. Also, not sure about errors. Yeah, Copilot or your agent may report some errors. Another interesting thing is that agent could send especially formatted messages which references code from, I guess, from GitHub or from somewhere. Again, I haven't tried this yet. It's not very well documented yet, I think, but you can send code snippets or references to code in a nice formatted way. This may be needed if user asks some, for example, if you ask data rockets, in which repo we have Ruby code that works with Redis, for example. And then this bot could, work with all the repos within Data Rockets organization, find the one that user looks for, and return references to the code. That's how I understand this feature. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. As I said, we need endpoint at which we will receive requests from GitHub. And here we are. I created a simple Express app. We basically need just one point. And GitHub will interact with just single endpoint and do everything with it. And yeah, so we need post endpoint. I wanted to show you how the request looks like. So we will see what we have in body when agent send us when GitHub send request to this agent endpoint. I know that we have messages in body. One important thing is that with each request coming to our extension web service, there is a GitHub user, GitHub token, or GitHub user token in headers. This is very important because that's how we can identify users, and that's how we can make requests to GitHub on behalf of a user that initiated chat conversation, right? So if I start, start a chat and interact with this agent will get my GitHub user token and will be able to do actions on GitHub on behalf of me. And there are many permissions. I maybe will actually show you. Maybe will actually show this. There are many things we can do on GitHub using GitHub API. You can do many things on GitHub. On GitHub, on behalf of user, like administer repositories, get everything, get code, get issues, pull requests, everything, access to actions, basically everything that you can imagine of. What you can do via GitHub UI, you can do agent can do on behalf of a user that started chat with him if the agent was authorized by user to do this, right? Because when you start a very first chat with particular agent, GitHub will show you a OAuth authentication window or redirect you to GitHub OAuth authentication, and you will be able to confirm all those permissions that agent requests. So it's not like you get those permissions by default. You have to authorize particular agent to do things on behalf of you. For now, I only requested Copilot chat permission. Maybe I should have requested something more. I will show you. Okay. Yeah, so there are a lot of permissions you can request from a user to provide to your agent. Getting back to code. So we have this GitHub user token, and we can send requests to GitHub on behalf of the user. Actually, maybe I will start with something else. Start with more simple example. So what we have in request. Yeah, we get a request. There is a list of messages from chat history, and we can reply. And as I said, the reply should mimic the way OpenAI API works. So basically, it's a stream of events with tokens. How to say it better? So here, what I do, I get a request. I don't care what is in the request. I just ignore it, and then I have a stream of events that I write back to GitHub. Looks like this. I believe it expects GitHub Copilot Extension API expected to start with empty choices, then empty message, then we can. So what I do, first event is empty choices, second event is just empty text, empty token, third event is something with some text. Some text is just a random string from the random replies array. And then last event would be indicator of the end of stream. With this log, I did this. Basically, it is what I showed you in the documentation, but a bit simplified way. We don't need to add some meta information or something. And Pasha, as you mentioned, it would be cool to have it in VS Code chat, and we actually have it in VS Code chat. If you authorize a particular agent to access, if you authorize particular agent in any chat, no, I think if you install GitHub app to your organization, then you will have access to this Copilot agent, and you can chat with it either on GitHub web page or in different IDEs, and in particular in VS Code. Let me try to show you. Okay, I will restart. Everything. Okay, server is not responding. Quick check whether it is available. Not yet available. I need to start a tunnel because it runs on my local computer. Bear with me for a couple minutes. I hope it will get back online soon. The problem is not in the app. The problem is in the tunnel. I should have properly deployed it somewhere, I guess. Or at least use something like in Grok instead of tunnel. I'm waiting for the tunnel to start. It doesn't start. Who has Copilot license on GitHub? Do you have someone? Do somebody use GitHub Copilot? Um, I'll quickly enable ngrok and use it instead of local tunnel that I tried to use. Almost there. Mm. Okay, testing quickly. Yes, I got a new endpoint, so you are not bored. I will share my screen. I need to change the point. Sure, it's important. Hope it won't ask me to reauthorize. Okay, I changed the endpoint. Let's see how it works. Okay, now it works. No matter what we will send to it, it will reply. It will reply with random message from this array of strings, as I say, because it's programmed this way. I wanted to show you how this request body looks like. It looks like this. Basically, okay, so looked many times. What we have, this is the whole body of the request we get from GitHub. It contains messages. You can see that user replied hi, assistant content, nothing. There were errors, I guess. That's why we have empty message. And then user said hey, assistant replied with a smiley face. User said wave. The assistant replied with random string. Again, we receive how are you, and yeah, reply. That's where that we receive the whole chat history. The important limitation here. No, I will probably chat about this a bit later. That's what we have. We have our own bot agent application running in VS Code. We can do whatever we want with this. Maybe redirect some messages to Slack or you name it, or making a it could be not data rockets, but data rockets summary, something like this, and our agent would get a chat history, summarize it at a nice educative message, and send it to dev channel and Slack, right? So you can earn points in team area faster if you want to. And that's the basic, very dumb example, right? We don't even care what the user send us. We reply with a random message. But it's not very fun and not very useful. When I don't see you, I start to worrying that I dropped from the call and you can't hear me at all. And I'm just speaking to myself. Weird feeling. Now I switched to the window. Now I see. Okay, so what more cool we can do with it? We no longer need to see the body. We can proxy user messages to GitHub language model. So with releasing, not sure it's with releasing, with this Copilot extension API, GitHub released or allowed access for its own language model. Basically, from what I've seen in logs, I studied how this language model responds. It is GPT 3.5 version, or even GPT 3.5 mini, which we can use for whatever purpose you want, right? You can very basic thing you can do. You can proxy all the messages your agent got to this language model, and then proxy responds back to the user. We need GitHub user token because it's not like you get access to this LLM only with GitHub user token, right? It's not like your agent suddenly have access to language model for any purpose. You actually send requests again on behalf of a user that chats with your agent. And the very simple example, we just get all the messages, we send those messages to the GitHub's language model, and yeah, proxy response back to the user. Start test. Hi. Okay. So now it looks more like a normal normal response from a LLM. It's AI assistant, blah 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 blah. Perform calculations, something like this. So very basic example. I may show you um, how the response looks like. Send the request. Of course, it won't generate. New screen. So that's what we get from the GitHub language model, right? It's a 3.5 turbo, GPT 3.5 turbo. And yeah, this GitHub's LLM streams us a list of tokens. Is there something specific you'd like? Yeah, you get it, right? That's what we would have from querying OpenAI API. But we get it for free. If user has Copilot license, our app has access to it for free. We maybe can inject, make some requests for user, and then make some requests for us as a pirates, just for our own purpose. All is possible. Okay, getting back to the code. That's yeah, that's how we can proxy these requests. Requests our agent get to GitHub's language model. But we can do fun things with it. We can inject some additional prompt um, prompt to this language model. From what I do here, again, one second, one more important thing is that having GitHub user token allows us to query GitHub API, and very basic thing, if you don't ask for many permissions, very basic thing you can do is you get information about the user, and it's like username, user email, description, something like this. A lot of information user agreed to share with us. Then again, we have messages. It's messages from the chat, and what I did, I prepended those messages with some kind of system prompt. I asked the LLM to reply, to include my username in reply, and I asked it to reply in a style Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory would reply. And we can try it to how the life was. So that's mostly for fun. You can think of your own prompt injections how you want. Again, as I said, you may ask it to call your functions if you want to describe your functions and demand particular format. Everything that we do with language models without 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 Copilot agents. One limitations of this that I was very upset or very sad to know is that it seems there is no way to get the selected code and send it to our agent. Space code in. It just doesn't grab this code and doesn't send it to my agent. I don't know why. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I think, yeah, if maybe it was changed recently in this Copilot extension. But if you want this code to be sent to a language model, and you explain this code, you need to use inline chat, which I absolutely hate the UI of it. But yeah, it works. You can see why I hate the UI. Because million scrolls and scrolls randomly. Yeah, terrible UI. You can ask, there is workspace handle that you can use, but I think it just use 5 references. It uses all the files to tell you about. I don't know how to send code to my agent. Maybe there is a way, but I'm not aware of. What I wanted to say is that I started this journey exploring those Copilot extensions with a lot of hope and was very curious. I thought it's a deal breaker, but it actually looks like a bot for one more chat. We have bots for Slack. Now we can have bots for Copilot. It's okay, fine. Maybe we will come up with something, but as I was thinking about cool examples that I would want to have, like I mentioned the infrastructure one when you ask a agent to create a deployment environment for you. But why would I need a Copilot agent for this if I can use a Slack bot for this, right? Or simple UI or separate chat. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but there's an opportunity to write such agents, and we have them. We can use them if you want. Hopefully, we will see some cool examples when they release their when somebody releases more extensions. Maybe you have ideas. So this is the time to start working on them. Yeah, and I guess that's it. What I wanted to tell. I was very excited about those extensions at the very beginning. Then when I started working with them, kind of lost some of my excitement. But one more tool, one more platform to do something on, and a chat in ID, whether you wanted it or not. Now it's here and will stay with us, I believe. Do we finish? Do you have any questions? Do you have any quick comments? What do you think? It's a good platform or bad platform? Tell me something and we may finish for today. Okay, I guess that's I guess we should wrap up. And that will be it for today. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming. The link is already in Slack, so if you want to study something more, you can do it yourself. If you have cool ideas what we can implement, also share, we can work on it.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining. Let's call it a meetup.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was nice talk.
Stop Sorry, there is something in chat. I just can't access it. So you probably wrote something I want to read.
That's interesting.
Yeah, thank you. You can go. I will read the chat because I wasn't reading it during the talk.
The guys only asked if these tools use ChatGPT 3, while 4 or mini is cheaper.
Okay.
Okay, thank you guys. Bye.
Right.
Thank you. Bye bye.